Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. Heroic Molten Core is finally coming tomorrow, and of course as soon as Heroic Molten Core comes I'm going to try to play through it. I'm also going to stream that live on Twitch, by the way, tomorrow evening, and then after that making some guide videos for it once I have been able to test the comps. But obviously that's not ready exactly the moment Heroic Molten Core arrives. If you want some ideas on how to take on Heroic Molten Core, here's what I'm currently thinking of trying first when it comes to the new raid. First we have Lucifron, and Lucifron has these more powerful dominators, but of course it might be possible to just skip them all together and just go all in on unbounds on Lucifron, which is what I'm planning to try with Maiev. And if that doesn't work out, then my backup plan is Anub'arak. Anub'arak is now fixed, Anub'arak works in co-op, and the Dominators, in their first iteration they had damage reflect, but now they don't have a damage reflect. Instead they have this aura that pulses damage on ground minis, which means that Anub'arak with the beetles, we just might be able to get all those beetles on the piling on the Dominators and add in an execute and hopefully kill the Dominators that way and then go for Lucifron. But first I'm just going to try to take Lucifron out immediately. Then we have Magmadar, and I think the top lineup for normal Magmadar is also going to work in Heroic. I just ignore the Hounds, I'm going to Starfall Magmadar down. I'm going to do it with the Doomhammer army so that I'm going to get a little bit of extra boost for the Wellbecks, and I'm also going to get a little bit of tanking power from Doomhammer himself, so that should be pretty good. Taking some towers, taking some chests, and then just Starfalling Magmadar. Don't expect any problems with that. The first one that I expect could be challenging is Gehennas and Shasra, because Shasra is going to counterspell everything, so you cannot use spells. So how are you going to kill those Flamewaker elites? They now have like 1500 health instead of 200 health, and you can't even execute them, and like you can't double execute because there's Shasra on the way. So my current plan is to go with Rivendare and go with a Molten Giant strategy, much like the one that I have used for normal. But this time I have Quillbore here. So the purpose of Quillbore is to distract, because the Flamewaker elites are summoned by Gehennas when Gehennas reaches one of the ends. So if you can drop some Quillbores, you can prevent Gehennas from reaching the end, so Gehennas will not be in position to summon the Flamewaker elites. Then you might have enough time to kill Shasra, and once you have made Shasra blink away, then you should have time to kill Gehennas and then finally go for Shasra, so that Shasra won't have too much time with those base missiles, so that it will be the last boss remaining. That's the plan anyway. And Molten Giants, we'll see. Molten Giant maybe is going to be useful against Gehennas. Gehennas won't be doing AoE against the Molten Giant, although Shasra will, so a little bit here and there. We'll see. Anyway, trying to use a distract strategy and then take them down. Heroic Garr can also be more difficult because we have those fire spawn, and those fire spawn are much stronger. So the explosions also have stun and knockback, and they have daze in them, and they have healing reduction. A lot of stuff going on with Garr. So I think we're going to go in with Drakkisath Cenarius at the start. I might try to build some kind of independent Cenarius army. I think Cenarius might be very important, because when a fire spawn breaks apart, then those fast little rumblings are going to come in, and the Cenarius can root them, I hope, anyway. So then perhaps we will be able to slow them down a little bit and then go. Maybe something like Arthas could do, just slowing them down with that. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see how big the explosions are going to be. Are Rime Skeletons going to be a proper answer? Or do we actually need to go in with something like chickens, batlings? They die to explosion, of course, but they're pretty cheap. Maybe you can just cycle through them. So, multiple options. Also, I really probably want to take just one lane, not going for a double lane strategy, because all the towers will be destroyed. And then there's going to be so many earth elements, so many of those fire spawn as well, so we'll see. Garr is one of the bosses that I'm a little bit concerned about. I'm actually not so concerned about Baron Geddon, because I think Baron Geddon is just going to die to Ragnaros. Ragnaros, get some levels, send the resistant gargoyle. You won't be able to send meat wagons, because Geddon is going to ignite meat wagons, so meat wagons are out, but Geddon with gargoyle should be fine. Also planning to use Sylvanas with the other account, so Sylvanas and gargoyle. Because Sylvanas with the Fury talent, that just might be enough, because I'm not sure Geddon has more health, so is Gargoyle going to be able to face Geddon? But a Fury Gargoyle from Sylvanas, that should definitely be able to do the job. So Ragnaros Sylvanas, maybe even just Sylvanas alone, not using meat wagon strategy, a little bit slower, and then the gargoyles might work out. And then there's Golemagg, and for Golemagg, now that there's those drakes patrolling the lanes, and core rangers patrolling the lanes, and bigger burn zones, and all that stuff, then I just don't want to leave my base. I basically just want to kill Golemagg with Starfall. Banshees on Molten Giants that coming in. That sort of stuff. I considered Jaina. Jaina, of course, would give the levels. Jaina would be pretty sweet, but I'm a little worried that maybe I need Jaina for Ragnaros. Jaina could be really good for Golemagg here. So I thought maybe I can do it with Ysera. Perhaps. We'll see how it goes. And finally there's Ragnaros, and again we now have the counter spell at the start with Major Domo and the Elite Flamewakers. So my plan actually is to kill Major Domo with Worgen. And probably the Elite Flamewakers with Worgen as well. So just trying to kill some stuff with Worgen because I can't play spells. And see where that gets me. Hopefully something like Thaurissan with the Hubris Worgen, X Worgen can also deal a lot of damage to Ragnaros. Obviously Ragnaros now has so much health that Execute is also really serious damage and might even outpace the Worgen. So I have a few ideas. I have the idea of the Hubris Thaurissan, then maybe Malfurion. Malfurion could be built in a couple of ways. If you have the levels, maybe you could do some kind of a Huntress build as well. But Malfurion can also support a Worgen. And then you could have like the Guillotine Jaina style Eclipse Execute for Malfurion. I'm also considering Onu, although Onu might have problem getting through Executus, because I think that the Ragnaros zone is a burn zone when Ragnaros is not around. So I probably won't be able to, because I thought that maybe I can drop a Swole Troll and the Swole Troll can attack Executus from the other side. But that probably doesn't work. So then maybe I would need to find a place for Worgen in the combat. That's kind of hard, so I'm not sure about the Ono idea. And then of course just Guillotine Jaina with Worgen. So if I have Worgen out there, then that means that with Worgen I can kill the Executus and I can kill the Flamewakers. And then I will be able to use spells. And then it's just business as usual. So that sort of thoughts, plans, ideas for Heroic Molten Core for tomorrow, but we'll see. I'm going to give it a try first with Turtle and then later on in the open queue, and we'll see how it goes. Thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and a special thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, YouTube members and Twitch subscribers who make all of these videos possible.